You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Viktor Bout.
an inmate at a federal prison. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. Hang up to decline the call or to accept, dial 5 now. If you wish to block anything...
Hello?
Victor,
Hello? Yeah, Khaled. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Better than I deserve, maybe, All right, look, we have only 15 minutes and one call. So, I suggest you drop all that, warm-up question and, let's start going to the heavy ones.
We'll get right down to business. It's been almost 8 years since your conviction. How are you being treated, and how has your, conditions, how have they changed since you were first being held?
Well, let's start at first. I've been held in a solitary confinement, and it took a lot of effort to my lawyer to get me to the general population. And solitary confinement, accordingly, even United Nations chapter of tortures, consider it more than 2 weeks as a torture. So think of this, I spent there more than, almost 1.5 years in a solitary confinement in MCC. All the pre-trial and after trial, so that was a kind of harsh. But afterwards, general population, I can't really, make any complaints. It's what the system, offers. It's another question whether I like it or not, but, it will change a little.
Now, last month, U.S. authorities allowed your wife and daughter to visit you for the first time. What was it like, and what did you say to each other during that visit?
Well, I will leave it, as a private matter. It was emotional, but whatever a family can say,
Sure. Now, is it true that your family's previous requests were actually turned down, and were you given an explanation for why that was?
Well, I cannot speculate on that issue. You need really to check with my wife and check what is there, so I don't have a first-hand knowledge about this. It's a very popular term now in these days in the United States, to have a first-hand knowledge, not second-hand knowledge.
Now, did Russian diplomats have a hand in arranging for your wife and daughter to be able to visit you finally?
Sure. It's thanks to the embassy efforts, they get even additional visits, so I'm very grateful, and, it's really good.
Well, and that makes me want to ask you, are you able to follow world news and news from Russia from prison?
Sure.
And what do you
This
make of
call
it?
is from a federal prison.
Leaving a major Russian publication like Российская газета, Komsomolskaya Pravda, Kommersant. So, plus, my friends sending me emails like from your website on English regularly, so I'm aware of what's going on. Plus, in the jail, there is always, there's a bunch of TVs where some guys look on CNN, Fox News, local channels like nightly news, Sunday programs, all kind of what is a popular, 60 Minutes, name it.
And do you get along with the other inmates? What's it like? How do they view you? How do you see them?
Well, that's, I again can repeat that there is way more which unite us, Americans and Russians, than to divide us. And majority of them perfectly understand that this is propaganda, this is politics. And I don't feel any animosity. Opposite, I think we have more affinity as the two great nations to each other, and we both will win from the good cooperation and friendly relation instead of this standoff and demonizing Russia or pretending that, Russia is an enemy. We've never been historically an enemy of United States. If you look on history, we helped United States to win the war for independence. We helped them in a civil war, and we've been allied during World War II and World War I.
Now, I'm curious, there are rumors that you seem to be writing a book. Is that true?
Well, it's a kind of the true. I don't want to disclose the details. Yeah, I'm working on this. It will take a while. Yeah, finally, I've been, fermenting for the long time, and now I'm kind of ready where I can, share, but it would be maybe even several books, maybe one about, health, lifestyle, which I kind of, how to, use that all techniques which help you to thrive in different conditions, maybe another one would be something else, maybe about business, I don't know yet.
Now,
But I'm working, I'm getting my thoughts together, putting some, writing them down, preparing, getting ready to get.
Now, last December, you turned down a deal offered by U.S. authorities. Can you describe what happened with that?
I don't know about the last deal. There was no deal last December. I think you've got the wrong information.
Okay. Now, have you been approached with any offers?
Well, they've been during pre-trial and during the trial when they've been through the public defender. They approached and said, well, we're going to get you, your family, green cards and settle you there if you, tell us some dirt about Putin and how corrupt these regimes are and so on. I said, I have nothing to do or to know about Putin, so I have no dirt and, you came to the wrong person with offer of the deals. That's why I went to the trial.
Now, you haven't gotten any offers since the trial?
No.
Okay. Now, the retired judge who presided over your case before he retired, now he said something about the federal sentencing guidelines in the case being too harsh. What's that? Can you explain that to us?
Well, you need to read her interview, which she made after the, retiring, and I guess you can approach her, so let her speak herself, because she was presiding on this trial. She saw this material. She saw there was no evidence. It's a magic source of the conspiracy. In this case, all gun dealers in America can be charged with the same, that somebody who will, conspire to kill Americans because gun dealer would agree to sell them the guns, though I was never a gun dealer, but nevertheless, they can indict a ham sandwich in this country if they want to. And look, it started like, you can laugh it or not, but in other countries we don't have this even term, conspiracy. There is no, in the law in Russia, there is attempt, but not conspiracy, because they categorizing conspiracy as agreement, including non-verbal, to commit a crime. So this is a, not only a loophole, I would say it's enough to drive the truck through, and you can get anybody, convicted. That's what happened to General McQueen, and that's what they're trying now to stick to even the President Trump, using the same technique. Hearsay, conspiracies, undisclosed stuff. It doesn't matter what was reality. He says this, now this has to stick, so they kind of, hypocritical. It's only applied to you, but never applied to their agents.
Now,
you misunderstood them. They never meant this. No. This was misspoken. And everything you say, well, you see what was on his mind, and this is that.
Now, your name came up when Foreign Minister Lavrov talked at the UN, and he referred to Russian citizens that have been kidnapped or illegally detained by the United States. He said the issue is priority. He constantly raises these in talks with American sides. Do you think this is paying off, these efforts from the Russian Foreign Ministry?
Well,
this call is from a federal prison.
You must know the Russian Foreign Minister and Russian government. They're not throwing hot cakes out just for the sake of the propaganda or stuff. I have just to be patient and wait.
Now, is there any hope that you'll be out before the end of your 25-year sentence?
Well, I don't think the hope, but if you look, we never know, especially in this political climate which America is, whether, what will happen first. But I'm sure something is on the making, and I'm sure something is coming my way, too.
Now, your family, are they in the United States?
Yeah, they're visiting me as we speak, yeah. They're here, they're nearby, and they would come to see me this week.
They'll get more opportunities, you think, to see you?
Yeah, they have opportunity to see me till the end of this month, so.
Now, you have consistently denied the allegations made against you by American authorities. What do you say is the motivation for your arrest? Why did they arrest you and convict you? What was the motivation?
Well, it's sometimes very difficult to say what is exact motivation. But you see how often they start using these conspiracy charges. I would say in the federal system, about maybe 60 to 70% of inmates are in conspiracy charges. Whether it's a conspiracy with the drugs, whether a conspiracy to do something else. Now, to get anybody out, knocked down, and put, it's like political prisoners, all of them has a conspiracy to kill. This is a magic sauce. It's kind of gorilla glue, which you can hang anything and it will hold. Because you see, whenever you put this magic word, conspiracy to kill, and look, almost all political
But what
prisoners,
made them come after you? Why did they target you?
well, this is, look, I don't know what's making them about me because, Hollywood went and made a fucking bullshit story and movie where they associate with me. There is a so-called self-appointed specialist like Douglas Farrar who wrote a fucking book based on whatever they've been eating mushrooms or smoking some dope. I don't know. There was no real fact-checking. There was no any proof. Whatever they're trying to, pretend, then they start, to telling, oh, this was there. But if you're so good as an investigative journalist, if you're so good, bring the real evidence which can stand in the court of law. But there was no evidence because conspiracy allowed just statements of this and to say, hey, he talked, you see, he didn't deny it, so he's guilty. He's guilty because he didn't walk out, he didn't slap their faces, he didn't start fighting with them.
Now, you call yourself a political prisoner. Can you explain that?
Yeah, because it's political. With all the demonization and whatever happening with the relation, I think I was a trial, like a litmus test, or like a, this option to try how we can go and harass Russians. And the State Department a couple years ago openly admitted, yeah, we're going to keep him as example, as a model, as a boy for whipping, so other Russians would be more polite and cooperate with us when we go after their corrupt regime, and so on. So this is 100% qualify as a political prisoner because I'm here of my nationality and I deny to cooperate with this side and I'm standing that I didn't do anything else and will fight for my innocence.
Now, are there any other inmates with you in the federal facility that you would consider to be political prisoners?
Well, I've been in a communication management unit which is famous and become a very popular, theme, like in a history channel, and you can look there, and this was a quite important, political prisoners too, like, for instance, Alaskan militia leader, Francis Schaefer Cox, for example, or Daniel Patterson, the Montana, 3 people, leader too, and they all have the same, conspiracy to kill American officers charge.
So
and look, even on charges of Mumia Abu Jamal, only Leonard Pertrier. Everywhere there is a kill officials. That's their, avenue. This is a loophole when they can drive their truck through because nothing else, will not stick. They cannot justify anything else.
So they have.
Believe me, in other countries, these will not exist because the judge will ask, well, will this crime exist if government will not initiate it? Answer is no. So in almost 90% of the world countries, there would be no problem and judge would let everybody free, like happened to me in Thailand on the first trial when the judge says, yeah, there is a bullshit. We have not this shit. You did nothing wrong. It's a freedom of speech to talk with everybody and express your opinions.
Now, because your case is highly political, are you being treated differently?
Well, of course I've been treated differently because by some reason BOP deciding that I'm in a special risk group or whatever, and I'm still now has a, different treatment for my emails, different treatment for my mail, general email. Yes, I'm a general population, but under very strict supervision and control.
Now, over the past few years, there have been a number of Russian citizens who have been seized while in third world countries, flown to the United States. Would you say that these cases are similar to yours? They have the same motivation in going after these folks?
Yeah, this is America just trying to get enough pawns to do to press, Russian. The most egregious one, the last time when they arrested in Italy, one of the government actual official who is the commercial director of the Russian engine manufacturer, which owned by the state, And this is really bringing this, well, it looks like we're coming back to the medieval ages where the Mediterranean pirates from the coast of the Algiers and Tunisia will go and just hijack the people and then sit and wait until somebody come and try to pay a ransom.
So like
That's
kidnapping at ransom is what you're describing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a modern time, piracy. Medieval piracy, kidnapping for ransom. But they want not money ransom, they want political pressure ransom or scare factor ransom or, it's part of their demonization ransom.
Well, what do they want from Russia with grabbing people?
Well, look, we will be cut off right now. You want me, I can call it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time, Viktor.